One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
Do you recall your emotions the first time, or your thoughts the first time leadership within the state started saying to you guys, this is what the plan is, here's how we're going to move forward? Do you recall maybe how you felt about the scope of this project?
I don't think anybody really knew. This has never happened before. There's been mergers of institutions, and you're seeing that on a regular basis in a number of states right today. But this is a little different. When you're talking about abolishing institutions and creating a new university, I mean, this is the first time anyone's ever gone through this. And our president, the emerging president for UTRGV, Dr. Guy Bailey, who's been a president at UMKC and Texas Tech and Alabama in the past, he always had a statement as, we can't really mess this up because it's never been done before. So we're kind of a case study for everybody else, and this may never ever happen again. I mean, it was a lot of circumstances that came together, and so for me, as an athletic director, I really didn't know what to expect. I knew that there was a great possibility that we would probably move faster than time, resources, and manpower, but I didn't know that for sure. Now I can tell you, as we got in 1 year here into UTRGV, this is a gold mine, and I'm sitting on a gold mine, and I feel very fortunate to be part of this institution and part of the massive growth that's going to come probably over the next 3, 5, 10 years for both the university and this region. It's a really exciting time. And I think I have never, in my 7 years being the athletic director, 6 at UTPA and now 1 here at UTRGV, never felt that excitement probably until UTRGV came to fruition.
Talk a little bit more about that gold mine specifically for athletics. And you mentioned a roadmap of 3 to 5 to 10 years. What does success look like in that time period for you guys?
Well, we laugh because, the university's going through a strategic planning process, and they're setting, their mission, their vision, their values, and kind of charting the course for all of us in the 6 campuses. And so we're going to go hand in hand with them in the strategic planning process. But as we're going through the process, we keep kind of ripping things up because we're moving really fast. I mean, between the budgets, the facility enhancements, I mean, we have created 10 new positions since May of 2015. And we would have created 5 or 6 more going into next year, but we ran out of office space, so we have to figure that problem out first. And so it is I tell everybody, here in staff and coaching staff, they grumble a little bit about certain things, and I remind them of, we're doing things at UTRGV and that many institutions at this level and or mid-major level are not doing. There's only a handful of schools out there that you can think of that are really have elevated both in the budget and the facilities. And we're adding sports. We added women's soccer 2 years ago. We added men's soccer back. It was dropped back in the 90s. We're looking to add beach volleyball in the next 18 months. And we're starting a football feasibility and planning services study where Mac Brown is heading that up. So there's not many schools in the country who can say that. They're not Power 5 schools. And like I said, when we sit on a gold mine, I could tell you 3 years from now, we may rip up whatever strategic plan we put in place because it may be totally different. It just depends on a lot of the private funding and the continual support from the UT system and in particular with the PUF funds and the research dollars to the School of Medicine.
What are your head coaches pitching on the recruiting trail, and how are they educating prospective student athletes on these changes and these opportunities?
Well, we do. I think the WAC is unique, to be honest with you, and I'm very excited about the WAC. When you're out there and you're talking about on the recruiting trails, and recruits have an opportunity to, when they come in here, they get to fly to Seattle and LA and Phoenix and Salt Lake City and Chicago and Kansas City and Las Cruces with their history and tradition at New Mexico State, and of course now at Rio Grande Valley, we're 1.3 million. So it's a very unique conference where we have a lot of road travel. But, not only just pitching, just the UTRGV and the sudden growth, but also, the WAC and the schools you get to play in the cities you get to go to. But, here we are looking at potentially starting football. We're looking at moving into we're moving into a 9,000 seat arena, with the city of Edinburgh and the NBDL team. Their owner is building, and it'll be done and constructed. And so there is so many things that are going on, not just for this athletic program, but this university. It's an easy sell for those, not just in the Rio Grande Valley, but now regionally in the state of Texas and as well as across the country. Yesterday my deputy athletic director came to me and said, "Hey, I had one of my architect guys when I worked at Missouri who was a donor. He called me and he said, 'Hey, I just heard you on the radio in LA. You guys are starting a football program.'" So I can tell you 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I don't think UTPA or UTB were being mentioned in the LA radio. So those are pretty exciting times for us.
And the latest news, of course, out of your all's camp is a rivalry series with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So give me some background on how those conversations started.
Well, Scott Lazenby and I are really good friends. Our president, former president, Dr. Robert Nelson, actually was vice president at Corpus Christi before he arrived here back in 2009, 3 months after I arrived. And so we have talked a lot about this rivalry series through the years. And, once we've kind of established ourselves after being an independent for all those years and established ourselves in the WAC, it made a lot of sense because, the purpose of the series is to build a regional rivalry between UTRGV and Texas A&M Corpus Christi and kind of bring attention to college athletics here in South Texas. And, one of the goals of this rivalry is to increase our school spirit for both institutions among our students, our faculty and staff, and our communities as a whole. And to be honest with you, leading to increased attendance. And, we want to have a more engaged atmosphere at our events. It helps us with fundraising. It helps us recruiting. It helps us build corporate sponsorships. And it also helps us with scheduling for our 12 sports that are all involved.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.